Test. The Founder's Guide to Copywriting. What's up, Anna Marie? Yeah. There we go, dude. What's up, dude? You ready to get your mind blown? What's up, dude? We're gonna start. Do you want to join?
Right now. I thought you already did today. I thought I missed it.
No, dude. We're just getting ready. All right, we'll wait a minute.
Sorry, dude. And then you can try to like magnetize it or something.
Oh,
If you want it. And then you should be good.
sweet, dude. Done. Okay. Let's rock and roll. I don't know if those guys are gonna come over. I'll wait just a sec. Anna Marie, did you ever start your trampoline place? How's it going?
Good.
Yeah?
We're doing our launch party in a couple weeks.
Nice.
Use the trampoline. Not an actual park. Oh, I guess we're doing it. But there's a bunch of different trampolines. And it's like Pilates in a park, but trampoline, like workouts. Shut up. I'm obsessed with that. You should come. I would
That's so
love
sick.
to. Let me know when. Yeah, I will. Like, we're trying to finalize the date probably this week. I'll also let you know. So you
Yeah, it'd be fun.
Sora's gonna be there. It'll be good.
Nice.
It'll be great. Do we have parties? Sora's the
How's it going?
women's electrolytes.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Dude, right now.
Dude, you guys come over?
Dude, heck yeah, of course
Yeah.
we are.
Okay, we're gonna start in just a sec. Okay. So Jackson, did you decide to stay?
I'll give it a shot.
Good.
Eddie, are we good to start? Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, so I know those guys are coming over, but we'll just get started.
Perfect.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm excited to share some of this stuff. For quick context, I want to make this like the most valuable 45, 50 minutes that you've ever had on the topic of marketing and copywriting. I know some of this stuff will be helpful no matter like where you're at in the building process or what like industry or category you're playing in. This is like very first principle stuff. And for even more context, I've used this for, or let me give you a quick story. So I actually started this game in the linguistics game and studied over at BYU. I'm kind of a nerd about languages. And during my last couple semesters, my dad asked me to build a logo for him. I'm also a nerd about logos. And so I built that. He's like, well, now we need a website to put the logo on. And so I started building out the website. I'm like, what the heck do you like put on like a website to actually like make it good? And I'm a perfectionist, so I was like Googling wireframes and like how do you write like a good H1 and like a good subhead. And that's when I discovered copywriting. I'm like, okay, this is like the perfect mash of linguistics and marketing. So then I dove deep. And so kind of the big outcomes that copywriting's helped me with is it allowed me to get in-house at an ad agency where I was ghostwriting for the founder and doing some copy for the ads, but mainly media buying. So I got my foot in the door there. It allowed me to land my first 3K client, ghostwriting and copywriting, which is awesome. It pushed me to launch my own agency doing email ghostwriting, content, which I'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, it's unlocked some really cool things. And even like for my grandma, I started a newsletter for her. She made like a couple grand the last few months. Like, this stuff works. So I'm gonna talk first principles, but I always like starting with this. Like, this workshop is gonna be awesome if you're building something legendary, you're ready to get specific, you're making content online, or you want to start. You're playing the long game and you have a strong bias towards action. This is gonna be very beneficial if you just like want to get started. This may not be super exciting if you're just wanting like quick hacks of like, use these words and say this on your sales page. Like, we're talking like first principles with this. If you're stuck in like the build it and they will come of like, I want to build this super cool product, this is like flipping that whole thing on its head, talking with your customers first. And then if you just want to play short games of like, I want revenue yesterday, we all do, but we're here for the long game. So I want to break 3 faulty beliefs right off the bat. A lot of people think copywriting's dead. It's not. As you can see, Anthropic and AI, they have job postings. These are the salaries for like a full-time copywriter. Like, they pay the big bucks. And you're like, okay, well, why is a AI company hiring for copywriters? Because they still need the skill set behind it. So copywriting is not dead. Can you guys see? Okay. It's not dead, it is thriving and super fun. Faulty belief number 2, I don't need to learn all this because AI can do it all. If it could, you probably wouldn't be here learning about copywriting at a startup incubator. So I use AI all the time in my writing, but I do it more for the research and a lot of the stuff that I'll show you today. It's an extremely powerful tool, but you have to learn the first principles before you want to write really good, effective copy. And then faulty belief number 3, I'm not a writer. Every single person here is a writer, especially if you're a founder. And because if you're a founder, you should probably be having conversations with other people, and especially online too. Like, get on LinkedIn, let's start writing. If it's not there, you're chatting with people in the DMs. You may be talking with people with like brand partnerships. You're going to be talking and writing to different types of people, and so all of this stuff is going to help you do that. So, what is copywriting? There's lots of bad juju around this, but this is the definition that I follow. It's writing words to change readers' beliefs, causing them to take an action. Some people think it's just words, like words everywhere, and that's correct, but like in a very small sense, because we need them to change something in their mind that moves them towards taking an action that we want. So to make this super simple, we have a lock, we have a key, and we have the unlock. So the lock is like the human. This is like what goes through the person's head. The copy is what we put in front of them. And if you want to get scientific, it's like the stimulus, or like literally what words we put in front of their face. And we want them to take a desired action. So for example, we'll go through like a bunch of YouTube thumbnails, but the whole purpose of a thumbnail is to get someone to click on it. Like, that's the game. Because we want to put a stimulus in front of someone. We want them to think something like, oh, that's interesting, and we want them to click on it. Same thing inside of the inbox. You have an email subject line. The whole goal of the subject line is to get them to open the email. And then the call to action inside of the email is to get them to click on it. That's like the next step. And so we can break down like the entire marketing like funnel or process through this. But to kind of zoom out a little bit, this is what I like playing at. This is more of I like the strategy level. So all of this helps you unlock different houses and different doors. And so I won't go on a lot into like category copywriting. It's something that I'm still learning a lot about, but it's essentially mashing like the strategy and like building your category of one with all of the copy techniques. But for the sake of today, we're just gonna focus on this, like the first principles, so you know how to distinguish good copy from bad copy. Because the whole purpose of this isn't to have all of you guys go start your own copywriting agencies and start writing for other people. The purpose of this is I want you as founders to be able to see what good copy and bad copy looks like. So when your marketing team comes up to you and they're like, hey, we want to launch this campaign. Can we get your approval on it? You can say like, oh, you know what? Let's actually tweak this instead of just like, yep, thumbs up, let's push this out. So that being said, we got to talk about the lock. Understanding the, or before we get there, there's two principles that you need to understand like with this process. So principle number one is it has to be in this order. You can't create the copy first before understanding the lock. So you have to understand the who of who you're writing to, and then you can create effective copy. So that's principle number one. Principle number two, there's no like master like skeleton key that just like unlocks all the locks. Every key has to be specific to the lock. And so I'm going to show you how, like what makes up a lock, and then how do you create like these little grooves in the key to unlock different locks. That's like the game plan of what we're going to go over. So the lock, we got to get inside the reader's mind. And the easiest way to do that is you need an operating table, a sharp knife. I'm just kidding. We really need to understand general conditions and specific conditions. So what do these mean? I was super confused when I first learned these. Full credit to a guy named KJ Rainey. He's the one who taught this, so all credit to him for the general and specific condition framework. Super cool dude in the space. But we're gonna dive into general conditions, and we're gonna go through some examples. And once you see these, like you can't unsee these. Like you will always be able to see the big, safe, easy, new. So these are, we'll start with big. So like the big general condition, well first, the reason these are called general conditions is because they apply to every single human. Everyone experiences these. You can think of it as like the monkey brain of like, we just want to scroll on TikTok all day. And like, we want the big stuff. We want to feel safe and connected. We want things to be easy. Like if you had a choice between a hard path and an easy path and they both got you the same outcome, we would probably take the easy path. Like these things are pretty natural for humans and what happens inside of our heads. So let's, before we get to specific conditions, I want to show you some examples of what this looks like. So for the sake of being at iHub, we're looking at the entrepreneur tab on YouTube. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to point out like the big general conditions that we're seeing like just on YouTube in general. And like these are some pretty big players. So right off the bat, do you guys know like Ali Abdaal? Good dude in space, productivity. So copy this plan. It's easy. You don't have to create your own plan. You just copy and paste this one. So he's playing on the easy emotion. Same thing with like the cheat code. How this became a cheat code. It's like, well, I would rather want to take a cheat code and a shortcut than like a long, strenuous process to get there. Let's keep going down. 4-hour rule. I mean, that's still playing on it because it could be the 24-hour rule, but it's like, oh, just do this in 4 hours, like the 4-hour workday. It's a super small thing. It's very easy. There's another one that I saw in here that I like. Literally this, social media got easier. So they're playing on the easy emotion here. If we keep going down, a lot of the big players, they can play on the big emotion. So 0 to $1 million. It wasn't 0 to $100. It was 0 to $1 million. There's another dude on here. His was like 1 billion. Oh, okay, right here. $30 million per year. That is like playing on the big emotion. Let's keep going down. Copy my system. It is easy. Learn to be a friend. He's playing on like the safe emotion. I want to feel safe and connected. So does that make sense when it comes to like the big general conditions of what people are playing on? Thumbs up. You're like, I have no idea what's happening. Okay. It's pretty simple. You'll see this everywhere. And I think YouTube's just a great place to visualize it. Same thing here, 500K, the big emotion. We're talking big numbers here. So general conditions are what a lot of people play with in their copy. And you need to understand general conditions before you understand specific conditions. Because general conditions apply to everyone, but we don't want our copy to apply to everyone. That's why we need to go specific. Yes.
So is that it? Those four? That's all the general conditions there ever are?
Those are like the big four, but I mean, you could go deep into like the psychology of it, of like connectedness and like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, of like, I want the big transformation. I just need like my basic needs taken care of. And so there's much more, but the big four are big, easy, new, and safe. So great question. So now that we understand like the basis of general conditions and how people are kind of using that, especially like on YouTube, you'll see it on LinkedIn all the time. One that I really like on the new of novel is like AI. A lot of people can talk about AI because it's new. And even if you may not have like full credibility in the AI space, but just the fact that you're talking about AI, it's new, there's updates coming out almost every day. And so playing on that is playing on the general conditions in your copy. But where the real money is on specific conditions. So we're gonna walk through this and I'm gonna show you my specific conditions deck. We're gonna walk through a bunch of examples, but like, this is like where the money copy is made. This is what gets people over the finish line. This is what gets people into your brand and wanting to stay for a really long time. So I'm just gonna walk through these. We have the macro. This is like a bird's eye view of your target customer. Think of this as like the 1 or 2 liner sentence that summarizes who you're trying to target. So for me, it's founders making over 30 grand a month, specifically in the health and fitness space. That's like one of my archetypes of people that I can say in one sentence. And then we also want to find their goal. So like, who does this archetype, where do they want to get to? We have to get extremely clear on that. And then what methods are they using to try to get to that goal? Next is faulty beliefs. So I broke faulty beliefs as an example during the beginning of this. Like, I'm not a writer, copywriting is dead. I can just use AI to write all my copy. These are faulty beliefs that because I have the information advantage, I can break these faulty beliefs for you so you can excel and move towards the desired action that I want you to make. Next is pain points. I kind of have some beef with pain points because this is all what people talk about. It's like, oh, go to the Costco parking lot, go talk to people, and just like learn what their pain points are. It's like, okay, cool, but that's like 10% of the specific conditions that you need. Like it's very important that you have those one-on-one conversations, but we really need to get like, okay, what is their current situation pain point? What are they scared of in the future? What outside things are affecting them to make them fear some of these pain points? Next are desire points. So kind of back to the goals of like, where do they want to go? Like, what do they want? What do they want to feel? What's that transformation look like? Likeness is what's going to help them feel warm and fuzzy inside when we write and speak to them. So for example, this may be like empathizing with your customer, like, hey, I got you, I understand what this is like, I've been there before, creating lots of warmness in your copy. Next is dreams, and there's overlaps in a lot of these. Dreams are, again, like, what's the big outcome they want? For a lot of the founders that I work with and who I'm trying to target, they're like, I want leverage. Like, I don't want to be heads down writing email sequences all day. I want to be able to send emails and make more money. It's like, sweet, I can help you get there. Failures, what hasn't worked in the past. A lot of people I run into, they've gotten burned by agencies in the past, and they're like, yeah, I can't do this. It's like, no, you can. That agency just sucked. Let's help you do it better. And then enemies, this is a big one. How do you find like the common enemy that your target customer is dealing with? So, for example, I could say like a common enemy in the social media space is like the algorithm. Like, oh, I hate the algorithm. It's like, yeah, I hate the algorithm too. Let's get everyone over to email. So that's the game that I'm playing, finding the common enemy. But I want to show you an example of like what this looks like. So let's go here. Okay, I got some good stuff for you guys afterwards, so don't peek at all. Okay, so this is can you guys see this okay? Let me zoom up. This is a specific conditions deck. I fill this out for every single client I work with because I want to write the most effective copy possible, and I know that's not possible until I understand all of their specific conditions. So I'm just going to walk through these, and you'll see in here that they're all focused, like it's just questions. We need to answer the questions because in their head, they have questions running like through their mind that we need to answer. And if we answer all those questions, they are way more likely to buy from us. So the macro, this is, can you describe who you're targeting? What are their main driving forces? What's their big end goal? Next one. What are like the painful details? So again, this is far beyond pain points. This is what current negative situation are they experiencing day to day? What do they spend their time doing? What's the dream situation? The negative pain points, the positive pain points, how do they want to feel? Zoom out a little bit. Beliefs. So this is like one of my favorite sections because if you can break faulty beliefs, you can jump leaps and bounds ahead of all of your competitors, and you can really grow a community that trusts you because you understand those faulty beliefs. So I like to break this up in 3 different sections. The first faulty belief is around the method. So I'm going to apply this to like my services. People will say email's dead, or email doesn't work, or anything around email itself, because that's the method that will get them to their goal. They're like, it doesn't work. I don't believe in email. So that's like faulty beliefs around the method. Internal false beliefs is like, I broke one at the beginning of this. Like, I'm not a good writer. Like, yes, you are a good writer. You just got to learn the first principles. And then external false beliefs, something else happened to me that made this not possible. So we worked with an agency and they burned us. It's like, okay, well, that was one agency, or they didn't do this right. And so how do you break these faulty beliefs? But a lot of people don't even know like what this is for their target audience. And so that's why we need to really get like extremely specific. Like it's called specific conditions for a reason. Let's keep going down. The general conditions are in here as well. So how do you get even more specific on the general conditions within everything that they're experiencing? So does that make sense when it comes to specific conditions? Yes.
Is there any way we can get a copy of this deck? Because I tried writing it down, then I tried taking pictures, and I wasn't fast enough.
Yes, I have a whole bunch of good stuff at the end that you can, you'll have this whole deck. So what questions do you guys have around general and specific conditions? Any at all? It's okay if you don't. Yes?
How long do you usually spend each client going through all that?
So a lot of this, I can do my own research on the back end, which this leads into the next point of like, how do you actually find this stuff? So when I'm with clients, I'll ask for access to all their past content. So normally I can find it on my own. It's usually podcasts, content online. So I can go through and just find all of that and start finding all these specific conditions. And that's like the process like from me with the client. But if I were like creating this for myself, I would try to find it in 3 different places. So you have direct, indirect, and personal experiences. So to find these specific conditions, the direct method is like talking with people directly. Like go start conversations and like literally ask them these questions. Like, why don't you think email works? oh, I've never done it before. Okay, cool. Now I know what to write in my copy. Like, let me show you how to do email. So you can ask people a lot of these questions, DMs, in person. I really like to use sales calls as well, where, I mean, because it's a very natural environment to ask these questions. So you say, you take your sales transcript, you can upload it. I'll give you some cool prompts at the end that you can say, okay, I want you to find these specific conditions for me from this sales call. And that's very good stuff. Testimonials as well. The indirect method is like YouTube, forums, Reddit, AI, like, hey, do some research for me. I want to find some specific conditions. And the other one is personal experiences. So I've done a lot in the gardening space, surprisingly, and in the health and fitness space. And so I know those industries very well, and I know what people are struggling with. And so, like, I can just use my personal experience and speak to it when it comes to those categories. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Cool. Okay. How are we doing on I know I'm kind of flying through this. Okay. There's two things that we need to make sure we do as you're creating the specific conditions deck. So first is scalability. So I'm actually going to go back here. So this is my deck. Like for my category, for my services, I filled out this whole thing. This is centered on like newsletters, copywriting, and like it's the whole shebang. And like I go in pretty deep just because I like this stuff. Obvious external problem, the education gap, like problem chains and stuff. But we won't get into like the nitty gritty. But what I want you to see is as you're going, like you could create the biggest specific conditions deck ever, but like it just becomes like a 30-page like strategy deck that you look at once. But like we want this, if it's a true strategy, we want it to be actionable like as soon as possible. So the best way to do that is to go through and find two things. First, the most scalable conditions, so like think wide, and think the most potent or like deep conditions. So the ones that are like emotionally energizing for our readers. So for example, I've kind of highlighted some. Let's go to like internal false beliefs. So out of all the people that I've talked to, I know that majority of people in my audience and network don't know what to write. So I know that this is a very scalable, specific condition. And I know the one that hits home with them is they don't want to sound salesy. They bring it up all the time. They're like, I don't want to put out content, or I don't want to sound salesy in my emails. And like this one is the most frustrating for them. And so I know out of like all of these things that they believe, because they're a human and they have lots of beliefs, these two are going to resonate the most with them. So in my copy, I just do more of that stuff and it works pretty well. The other really cool thing about this is to kind of hit on this. This is like a cool bonus of creating a specific conditions deck like this, is all of this, like all of these are now prompts for content, which is pretty sweet. So for example, newsletters don't drive revenue. This is like a method false belief. I don't believe that newsletters can make me money. They can. So I took that prompt and I made a LinkedIn post and I said, my grandma made over $1,000 in 30 days with a newsletter first strategy. So I'm just breaking that faulty belief with an example. I scroll down, I have a good CTA at the end, like, hey, if you want to do more of this, I can help you. I mean, like, who doesn't want to buy from her? I mean, come on. So.
Actual grandma there?
Yep, real life grandma. So. No, but some people have asked. So, that's the joy of like really doing your research and your homework on like, okay, I got to get inside the heads of all of these people that I'm going to be talking to, my potential customers, and it all starts with asking the right questions. And Like, what are all the excuses? Why do they think they suck? Why do they think the world sucks? And like really breaking down these faulty beliefs. And again, all of that can turn into content, which is awesome. So let's go back here. Okay, we're gonna workshop some stuff. Are you guys ready? Okay, sweet, so ready. Okay, I wanna walk through, we're gonna go back to YouTube, and I wanna point out some of the specific conditions that I'm seeing, and if you see any, like, call them out. I've gone through this a little bit, because we went through and we found some of the general conditions, but we gotta find like the specific, like why is like this one very specific archetype of person going to click on this? So, of course, all of this is in the entrepreneurship realm. One that I found was this. Raw reality of an 18-year-old Christian entrepreneur. It's like, okay, that is like pretty darn specific. And so by him putting this copy out there, he's tapping into the specific condition of like who that person is, an 18-year-old Christian entrepreneur. So that's why he wrote this. And if you go look at the comments, same video, everyone's like, I felt this one. This is the content I'm waiting for. Don't disappear. This is literally perfect timing. Love this, bro. So you have like he's attracting the exact type of people that his copy wanted. So I would consider this very effective copy. Let's go to, let's go back. We'll find like one other example. Again, easy, big, how I built a $1 billion brand in my 20s. Okay, creativity maxing. This one may hit more towards like creative people. She's holding up books. I studied creativity for 365 days. Let's keep going down. And so not all of these are like really prime good examples. Some of them are like purely just general conditions. Like sales 101, that could be applied to like anyone in any time period, like wherever they're at in their business, this video could help. But it may not be as potent as it could be if they were to say Sales 101 for early stage founders, specifically in Utah. Like that's gonna attract a very niche audience, and it wouldn't do as well with the general population, but it would do well with those specific conditions. Let's find like one more very specific. Again, some people don't do these very well because they want to reach lots of people. A day in the life, maybe a little bit. Building a SaaS startup. So this is more specific than Sales 101 because it's a startup in the SaaS industry. So we're just getting more specific. Harvard Business School 101, again, getting more specific. So I just want to show you like real life examples of where these different conditions come into play when it comes to copy and like the words that you're actually putting out. So we're going to do a little bit more workshopping, but I want to, let's see. Let's maybe dive into this. We're just gonna get like more nitty gritty because I want to give all of you guys the good stuff. But I want to make sure everything's clear when it comes to first principles, the lock, the key, getting the lock unlocked. Any questions before I keep moving on? Okay, yes.
It actually did cross my mind because I'm really trying to figure out my LinkedIn content, like
Nice.
a specific strategy, and I was actually going to ask about like if the specific conditions would work for that. And
Oh yeah, absolutely.
you said so thank you.
Yep. Yeah, what's nice is you're not following like hacks or trends of like go use this hook or use this format or go play on this platform. Like these are first principles that can be applied to anywhere, which I think is it's really fun when you understand it. The 6 moneymaker principles. So think of these as like refining like the grooves on your key. So this stuff, these specific conditions is like the key itself, but these principles are what like make the actual grooves that you can, like very tangible things. So for example, or principle 1, specificity. If you take anything away from this workshop, it's going to be the principle of specificity. Like you got to get like more specific. A lot of brands will say, we help you increase revenue. Okay, cool. Like how and when and what do I need to put into it in order to get this increase of revenue, this big outcome? And so I'm going to show you some really cool examples of like how specific you actually need to get. Principle 2 is subjective versus objective language. Not a lot of people talk about this because they don't understand what it is, but this will put you ahead of a lot of people. So subjective language, think of it as it's open to interpretation. If I ask someone, so a good example, working in the health and fitness space, if you go to a lot of recovery studios or like wellness spas, on their website they say, we help you feel better. But if you ask 10 people, what does it mean to feel better? You're gonna get 10 different answers. Like, do you feel better mentally? Do you feel better physically? Are you less stressed? Do you feel like just feeling better and feeling good is very subjective language, meaning like we don't want to put that type of subjective language inside of our copy. On the other end, how do you make it objective? Objective language is not open to interpretation. It's like black and white stuff. So an example that I really like is if you say the line, we help real estate agents in Arizona make their first $1 million within the first 2 years of becoming an agent. Like, you know when you have $1 million or not. Like, you either have it or you don't. And like, you know if you're in Arizona. If you're in Utah, you're not in Arizona. And so like, that is very objective language. And the more objective you can make it, the better. Because, which leads into principle 3, it's tangible. Because as we're playing in the digital space, there's lots of digital air that's being passed around. And what I mean by that is like PDFs, even copy can be considered like digital air. Content, it's like you can't like physically grab this content. So we need to use language to make it feel more real. So this is why people name stuff a lot of the time. Like, are you guys familiar with Justin Welsh? Kind of big creator guy. He has like Creator MBA. So it's like this, you can picture in your mind like this MBA program, but it's just like a digital product. Like, it's pretty simple. You'll see people use language like guides and frameworks and even courses. It's like, okay, cool, I'm getting this thing, I'm getting this tangible asset. And when we can emphasize that in our copy, it can land a lot better. Principle 4 is the environment. In order for your copy to land, you really have to know what the environment it's going to be playing in. I could talk a lot about this with like formatting, like your actual writing length and what that looks like. I won't go into details, but the environment is essentially saying where's this copy going to live? So is it on Instagram? Is it on LinkedIn? Is it on Substack? Like, is it inside of the inbox? Because all of that is going to affect your copy and how it's formatted and how much you can actually write. Twitter is going to be a much different environment than a long form newsletter. Principle 5, the slippery slide. The whole goal of copy is to get the reader to read the next line. So to kind of go back to the first principle, the whole purpose of a subject line is to get them to open the email. The whole purpose of the headline is to get them to read the subhead. Purpose of the subhead is to get them to read the first paragraph. And you just want them to keep sliding down the page. So one way to get them sliding down the page is to apply all of the specific conditions we talked about. Because if they're like, oh my gosh, this guy understands me, like they understand my problems, like I've heard some people say, not to me specifically, I wish, maybe one day, but they're like, how, like, are you like spying on me? Like, how do you know me so well? And it's because that guy and the copy that he put out was resonating so well with the reader, they just kept on reading. And there's some cool things that you can do with it too, like with your formatting, but a very important principle of like, you just want them to keep sliding down the page. Principle 6, I'm not just saying this because I play the email game, but all roads lead back to the email list. And this ties to principle 4, because the best environment for you to break faulty beliefs, to really showcase like the copy, like copy can thrive inside of a longer form piece of content, and the best way to deliver that is through email. So if you can grab their email, you can effectively put the right copy in front of them. Because think of that versus like a 2-liner tweet. You may not be able to break as many faulty beliefs through that compared to a long form piece of content. So very biased towards long form content. So let's, I'm gonna go through these, then we're gonna go through a bunch of examples. Yes?
Say you're selling your product.
Yep.
How do you know the balance of just putting content that's good content that brings people to the page to learn and read versus sales?
So if I understand right, are you asking how do you know how effective your copy is?
Yeah, well, the frequency of how often you put your copy in versus sales ads. Like, because people are reading it through, and obviously you want to talk about your product.
Yep.
But you also want to make it just content where they like to stay on your page and learn stuff.
Gotcha. So kind of entertaining versus more salesy.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a big advocate for, there's a time and place for all. Usually that more entertaining content lives at the top of the funnel. Like, we want to attract people. We want those general conditions to be very big. And then as you're getting closer to that sales process and the actual money transfer, we want to get extremely specific. And so that's like one frame I like to look at it. The other is, I don't like to think of copy and copywriting and even ghostwriting in terms of sales. I like to think of it as education, because looking at the specific conditions deck, they just have questions in their head of how much does this cost? How much time is this going to take me? Who else needs to be involved in this process? What's the outcome? So they just have questions. And so I'm not a big fan of saying that like this is sales copy or copy going like on a sales page. It's more, how can we educate them and give them as much value as possible to where they're like, sweet, you've answered all my questions, let's do this thing. Does that make sense? So, okay, 4 copy killers. Once you see these, there's no going back, so I'm sorry. Number 1 is blaming the reader. You'll see this all the time, especially like in the AI type of content. People will say, and I know all of you have seen this, it's like, most leaders are struggling with this, but it's actually this, like a very AI phrase. But what they're doing is blaming the reader. Like, hey, you're struggling with this. Like, we don't want to blame the reader. We want to be their best friend. We want to be their advocate. We want to, and this goes back to the general condition of safety. We want them to feel very safe. And when you blame them, like, you're struggling with this and you suck at this, like, even though you say you don't suck, like, they're probably beating themselves up way too much anyways. And so we need to be like their biggest fan. Killer number 2, talking about yourself too much. I could talk about personal branding all day. I have a little bit of beef with it. But like, it's not that talking about yourself is bad, it's just talking about yourself way too much. And if you are gonna share stories of this is what I went through, these are the outcomes that I got, now I'm selling this product, we need it to be in context of their situation. So again, everything goes back to that specific conditions deck. If you can understand their context, now all of your stories can now be tailored to that, which I think is really fun. Killer number 3, features over benefits. This is a big one. And I'll show you some examples. You always want to highlight the benefits over the features. So this is a killer, so don't highlight the features over the benefits. Killer 4, using comparatives like better, smarter, faster. You'll see this all the time, especially in SaaS products, of like, we're faster than those guys down the street. But when you say that in your copy, you're now bringing them into the picture, which like we don't want. We want to say like, stay in this house. We don't need to talk about all the other houses. I could talk about this one a lot using comparatives, but the whole game is creating your own category. How do we do that in our copy? One way is to not use ER. So let's look at some examples. Okay. Big fan of Ship 30 for 30, what Nicholas Cole and Dickie Bush are doing. But this is like a prime example of what really, really good copy looks like. A lot of what I learned in the copy space like comes from these guys. So this is very tangible language. Start writing online in 30 days. After 30 days, you'll know if you have started writing online or not. Ship 30 for 30, self-paced course, a little bit of credibility, creating like their unique advantage. Unlike other places, you won't learn this passively. Okay, right here. These 3 blocks, it's just specific conditions. That's all it is. Have you wanted to start, but you're not sure like the first step to take? Are you overwhelmed? They're thinking, I'm overwhelmed right now. Have you started writing online, but you feel stuck? So again, trying to like push this very potent copy. Are you hacking away? You're not getting any traction. You're feeling frustrated. Do you have plenty of ideas, but you don't know how to put yourself out there? So the faulty belief of like, I can't do this, right? They just hit those right off the bat. So by the time like you scroll once and you're like, sweet, these guys know exactly what I'm going through right now. And like, if these sound familiar, which they do, this is built for you. Cool. Testimonials. Again, more specific conditions. Here's everything these beginner writers face when they try to start writing online. This ties into like the big general conditions. Like, these guys are good. Writing alone is hard. Writing with a community is easy. That's like, this is the game. And like they go through their whole sales page. Bad habits, publishing into the void. So that's good example 1. This is like James Clear, awesome guy. This is like a mid-tier example. Again, easy, pulling on the easy general condition. Proven, this is like safe. Like, okay, people have tried this before. There's no risk involved. So playing on the safe emotion, way to build good habits, and break bad ones. So playing like in his category, I'm gonna show you how to do good thing and not do bad thing. Going down more, a little bit about himself, like just credibility. Again, very tangible language. 30 days, in 30 days, you will have better habits. A step-by-step guide. That's the general condition of this is easy, this is proven. Habits that stick. And these like partially tie into specific conditions, right? But he's being very clear, so that's what I want to point out. 11 emails in the first 30 days, so you know exactly what to do. Awesome, I feel confident now. This includes a 20-page PDF workbook. Again, like this is just stuff he sends you through email, but he's like, I'm gonna send you all this cool stuff. 20-page PDF, 11 email lessons. And I think he adds in like his book as well, or like a couple of chapters. So he's just loading this up with tangibility. Last example, no beef against Job Nimbus. Cool company. I know some people who work there. But I just want to give you another example of like what this copy looks like in the real life. So roofing software, love that they start off with like we are a roofing software company. That keeps every job on track. So this is like a little bit more vague. So like, what does it mean to actually keep every job on track? This is just pure credibility. Go down. So this is like where we start getting clever. We want to be more clear than we are clever. So you just found your super suit. Like, what does this mean? I don't know. Does this mean that like they're literally going to give me a super suit that I put on like when I go to my roofing projects? I don't know. More credibility. Join thousands of successful roofing contractors. So again, that safe emotion, we want them to feel a part of something. Go down a little bit more. Your new supercharged workflow. So are they like plugging in a machine that like superpowers like my computer? Like, I don't know. Again, more like clever language than clear language. Features here on the side. More credibility. And like, these are just features, right? But like, how cool would it be if Job Nimbus was like, hey, you're probably struggling with this as a contractor. Your jobs are probably getting really messy. So I worked with a brand in this space. And what's interesting is one of their biggest pain points and frustrations is migration. So moving from one platform to another. So as I go through here, like not a lot on like the topic of migration. I'm like, maybe there was like one little point that's like, oh, integrations. But integrations it's different than migrations, right? And so if they really wanted to like drive home this huge pain point that people have, they should say like right here in the beginning, migration is extremely easy. Yes?
So is Job Nimbus your counterexample of bad copy that you're showing us?
I wouldn't say like good copy versus bad copy. I would just say this isn't as effective as it could be versus the other examples that were extremely specific compared to this where it's like, it's more like fancy language. So like, can you put this? Sure, you can write whatever copy you want, but is this going to be scalable and is this going to be potent and like, is this going to resonate enough with our target audience? Yeah.
Now, when you say, is this scalable, what would you look for to determine whether it is scalable or not?
Yep, great question. So if I have 10,000 people in my audience and 9,000 of them have the same specific condition, it could be, let's take health and fitness, for example. They have that dream of building a community around their gym, right? And I have 1,000 people out of that 10,000 who are like, I don't want to build a community. My main goal is to make money. Like, I want this to be a franchise by the end of next year. So you still have the same person, same like gym owner, but they both want different things. So what I mean by scalable is we want to go after that largest pool of people that are going to benefit our company the most, right? Because if we're going to help both gym owners, we're going to have a way better chance of hitting the 9,000 people in our audience who want this thing rather than the smaller pool of people. Does that make sense? So it's like, you're essentially looking at like the TAM of your audience of like a lot more people want this stuff. Let's go give them what they want. So great question. So that's the Job Nimbus example. I was going to look at this one too. Leland, they're over in Lehigh, super cool brand. And that like, it really depends on how you look at it. Like, is this going to be effective or not? I know they're getting a lot of people to their website. So like, own your future. What does own your future mean? If you ask 10 different people, you're going to get 10 different answers. I know that the direction that they're going is a little bit more on the AI side. So like, it would be cool if they said, own your future and the future of AI. Like, that would be a little bit more tangible and a little bit more specific.
That's what I'm wondering. I wonder if they had AI create this.
Exactly.
Because that's what their business is. I mean, that's what they do.
Yep. Yeah. So that's like, okay, like, is own your future the most effective piece of like stimulus or copy that we could put in front of them? I would say probably not, knowing who their audience is. The world is changing fast. Leland helps you change with it. So it's like, I want to feel safe. I want to be a part of this. But at the same time, who is you, like helps you, or like the guy down the street who like has a $1 billion company, or like the guy who's at iHub like just starting, like who is this for? Going down a little bit more, again, ambition lives here. Cool, but like ambition's here at iHub too. So now you start playing with like, okay, well now who's better, Leland or iHub? So like how would we get more specific? It's like we help these people fuel their ambition by doing X, Y, and Z. We just got to make this more tangible. Cool testimonials. Like this is pretty unique. Make your organization AI native. Training services talent. Awesome. You just answered my question of like what's inside of here? Training services and talent. Take the next step towards your goals. Like just put what your goals are in here. Like if they really went through the specific conditions deck, they could say, we know what your goals are, we're gonna put them in here. So, does all of that make sense? I know that was like kind of fire hose. Here's what copy is. Here's some cool examples, but I wanna ask you guys, thoughts, feelings, what are you gonna do? Yeah,
So the 30 for 30 is the best copy you could find to show us as really good copy?
I think it's a really good example. They have a pretty fleshed out sales page. I've learned a lot from them. Really good to be like mistakes and specific conditions and to find all those things. So,
like
yep.
free money isn't a good copy just to
I mean, you're definitely playing on the free and easy emotion, but it's like free money for who and when and how long, and does that make sense? Like, how can you get more specific? So, you had a question as well.
No, you're good.
Cool. Yep.
Would the 6 moneymaker principles and the 4 copy killers also apply to LinkedIn content?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Then yeah, my only question next is, where do we get the specific conditions?
Yep,
next?
I got you, dude. Right here. So, feel free to scan these if you want. Where are we at on time? Oh, sweet. This is actually perfect. So I'm gonna answer any questions you guys have. I'm like here for the next like hour or two. If you want to just like workshop this stuff one-on-one, go through your stuff, let's do it. Please use me as a resource. These 2 things, newsletter games, this is my newsletter. I just talk about all this cool stuff every week. Sometimes I do it more on different platforms. But yeah, newsletter games, it's fun. I just show you how to build out all of this specific condition copy inside of your emails, your email flows, newsletters. And then LinkedIn Live, me and a buddy of mine, we're doing a live on Thursday. It's gonna be 9 a.m. here, and like he's over in the UK. How to book B2B clients on LinkedIn using content, emails, and DMs. It literally doesn't get better than this. This is like, these are principles that we've used in our flows, in our own sales processes. It should be really good. Lots of Q&A, just jamming on what we talked about, how to use it in different places, like the environment. Yeah.
So I just rewrote my whole website.
Nice.
Are you willing to put it up and tell me what's good and what sucks?
Yeah, do you want me to do it right now?
Yeah.
Cool. What's your website called?
VERFIEDLEARNING.com.
Verified Learning.
Did we spell something wrong? A. So
This
it's
one?
different. No, so it's VERA. That's the difference.
VER. Okay, I think that's the one I just tried. Yep.
Oh, I forget my own website. It's verify, not five.
Gotcha.
VERAFY. Yeah, I should know my own website.
This one?
There
Okay,
it is.
cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Pre-verified learning for all. Cool. First thing, like, just get more specific. Like, even though you can help everyone, we want to like call out that person, like the most potent person.
Okay.
Yeah, same thing with a lot of this. Built on proof, not promises. Built by educators. I believe it. Okay, let me just read through this for a sec. Okay, so like what I'm seeing through here is like verified proves your learner actually learned. Like where and who, like higher ed, foreign language tutoring companies.
This is everything K through university.
Yep. So I think that's where you got to get more specific on like, let's just start with one, like, and then build out from there.
Okay.
And then you gotta, cause like this is a feature, right? Like we do this thing, but we want to flip this towards the audience. Yep. Like what's this big transformation that they're gonna get?
Okay.
So I would start with there, because if you can nail this and the big benefit, then all that you talk, cause like this is talking about yourself, our philosophy, who we are, how it works, more features. We want to flip this like Ship 30
Okay.
and say like, here's what's wrong with the learning industry right now,
Okay.
playing at the category level, and here's who we're trying to help with it, and just call them out specifically.
Okay. So that's not comparing though, because I actually took out a bunch of language that AI put into this.
Mm-hmm.
Comparing us to our two biggest competitors would be Conmigo and Brilliant, and I took out everything that referred to a competitor.
Yeah.
But I should put it in there.
Not necessarily. I mean, you don't need to call out your competitors,
Okay.
but just hit on like those specific conditions. Yeah. So cool. Yeah, and I mean, if you can nail this, it flows throughout the rest.
Okay.
So you're just expanding it. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Helpful? Too much? Like not enough? I want to do more of these. So
I think you should. This was awesome.
sweet. Yeah, you know the game.
Yeah. I do have a question.
Yeah.
So I was talking with one of my mentors, and she suggested, because I have my waitlist going.
Yep.
Like my club, and so she suggested that I do a giveaway to
Nice.
promote it, and I'm going to be switching over to temporarily to a new service provider called Waitlister that's specifically built to build waitlists
Nice.
rather than my current email provider. But I'm just curious, how would you go about with the copy and kind of those sorts of emails where I'm trying to get people to basically be like, do like a competition thing where it's like the people who refer the most people get like their experience free type thing.
Gotcha.
That's kind of the base idea.
Cool. And does that platform do that natively?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
cool.
why I'm switching over to it.
Nice. There's another one called Get Waitlist as well.
Get Waitlist?
If you want to compare, I don't know what the
Yeah,
pricing
I
is.
should go shopping. As
Yeah,
well.
do it. Yeah, getwaitlist.com. Essentially, they just gamify the waitlist. Super cool. So your question is specifically the copy to drive people to the waitlist?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So,
cool.
Like, with those emails of like talking to my current list to see like, okay, how can we get this kind of a competition? Or
Yep. Perfect timing. So I'm creating a digital product for my grandma. And we're currently in that same stage. We want to drive people to the wait list. This is the story that we just barely put out. You can copy this.
I will take a photo of it.
Yes. This is why it works. It's very simple. PSA, public service announcement. If you've been stuck trying to design your perfect vintage garden, if you're like stuck, you're frustrated.
Knowing the need.
Yep, calling the need. Here's the solution. We're creating a European style gardening guide. Let's go, Grandma. To show you exactly how. Backing up with credibility. Literally sharing 50 plus years growing and designing in the garden. What next steps? click the link here, I'm in. This takes them straight to the wait list. Yep. Some people like to play the ManyChat game. It's just getting expensive for us because we're growing fast.
I've done it, but I've also heard from Instagram officials recently that they're starting to crack down.
Oh, interesting.
That promotes like the comment baiting, basically.
Yeah.
And I've tried it myself. I've used ManyChat professionally in social media stuff, like for my work. I've done it.
Yeah.
It's worked for us there, but not for me. So yeah,
Cool.
I know. I'd rather go for the more organic of just like
Yep.
bio, LinkedIn post.
Yeah, I mean, and you can still track these. I mean, not who, but like how many,
Yeah.
which is fine. Yeah, and then on that waitlist page, if you can, so I'm guessing that your provider has the email capture.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would just see it, like how much they can track.
Okay.
Conversion rates, because Kit's pretty cool. You can just create endless landing pages. So like, so whoa, we can actually see how well this did. This is today. So 42 from that.
42 from that.
Yep, from that one post. Yeah, it's nice because.
That's pretty good for, I think you had like 700 views on the story,
Oh, let's see.
from what I saw.
Oh, yeah.
770. That's pretty good conversion rate, too.
Yeah, so driving them all there. So, do what you will with it, but
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
yeah,
Definitely.
so.
Yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm doing over the next couple weeks to see if I could turn the 700 into double or triple or quadruple that.
Yep.
Getting referrals from friends.
Yeah, I think it's awesome when they can share it.
Yeah.
And I would say the more you can like